Hey people, injured here, 2v2, Medean Cliff Mines, blue team. We've got Vapor plays. A Plague Champion starts off range combat with a damage of a Time Bolter, can get melee weapons, some decent utility and support, can build turrets and repair, but is very slow. Alongside Wise Windu, one of the modders for Elite, plays a Warp Spider Exarch to the point commander that fights range combat, really good at capping and harassing with some awesome control abilities too. Red team, Paranoid Kami is a Force Commander, very good offense fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. And rounding off the teams, we've got Forestradio as a Ravenant Alpha, tunneling commander with great mobility and damage output, begins in range combat but can get melee weapons, some decent support abilities too on this guy. Warp Spider Exarch being very annoying and coming to harass the Tyranids, but is outshot there, gets behind the heavy coverage trying to peel a model off of these termagants. Now he sets his sights on the tunnel while Banshees come in and flank. Really late reaction there from Forestradio, but he does get away with just 2 losses. That tunnel will go down, giving some red and XP. Meanwhile, in the south, Space Marines versus Chaos, and the Plague Champion's power is being pushed. His Chaos Space Marines are mid though, some Black Legion elite scheme going on. Here comes the Plague Champion to defend. Will most likely try and take models off those scouts. They are in light cover there, but the damage over time from the Plague Champion's bolter is pretty good at fighting units in cover. Banshees running amok. He needs those crippling poisons up, toxin sacks as soon as he can. There are Avengers moving in now. Here come Hormagaunts to counter initiate, which does force the Banshees into retreat and loses 2 models there. Ouch. Pushed a bit too far there, Wise Windu. Blue team have taken the mid. They've got the contested wreck and power, and they're noding that power. Meanwhile, south, Force Commander going after Heretics. He's very good at fighting Heretics early on, especially without their aspiring champion. Give him the Artificer or Iron Halo or both of them, and he becomes fantastic at fighting those early game melee squads with his battle cry. Takes out another Heretic model. This is from the Grenade Launcher Squad. 499465. Plague Champion in retreat. Force Commander's not giving up, he's smacking around these Heretics here. 40 DPS from his default chainsword, and now Chaos Space Marines wading into melee combat with Tactical Marines. Can they get a model? They cannot. Now they're out shooting those scout models, forcing them off without a model lost though. Oh, they did lose the 1 model. 498464. Force Commander sees them off. Not a lot of pressure on the Force Commander there. So he was able to do his thing. Warriors on the field for Forestradio, and does have toxin sacks up on 1 Termagant Brood, and it's on the way on the other Termagant Brood, and gets a power up too. But Wise Windu is not letting up here. Has Rangers on the field. Sniper Infantry, good burst damage from range. They can also disrupt for you from range with their kinetic pulse. Look at that shot on the Warriors. Now they're in trouble. They need to fight Howling Banshees, but there is their passive leap into combat, knocking back some of the Howling Banshees there, and I'm not sure why those Warriors retreated. He could have won that fight quite handily. Got another couple of models, I think, with those Hormagaunts in behind him. I think he should get the adrenal glands for his Hormagaunts. They're doing a good job so far, and it does make them quite a bit better with the 8 models attacking stuff. Rangers get away fine, but the Dire Avengers lost 3 models. Warp Spider Exarch was not around to help out. We might see the heavy gauge Death Spinner from this guy to disrupt and take that Ravenant Alpha out of the game. And when you have Rangers and Dire Avengers shooting at him as well, that can take him down pretty quickly. He's put a hive node up. See how quickly he built it there. A defensive structure gives you range damage resistance, but also reduces your outgoing range damage, or damage any enemies that get close. Plague Champion has gone for the Fetid Armor, gives him that unholy stench. Awesome on-demand suppression with a reasonable range, I think it's 15 or so. And that will slow down this Force Commander because he's having a good time so far. Goes for the Iron Halo and Armor of Alacrity, so he's going to be chasing down Heretics left and right. We have double Grenade Launcher Heretics, and Grenade Launchers in general are not very good at fighting Commanders because they will rarely hit them, especially melee Commanders, and he's forcing off the CSM already. Tactical Marines close to losing a model, but now forcing melee combat on the Heretics, there's a grenade barrage knocking down scouts. Tactical Marines getting away without model loss, but now we have the Plague Sword up on the Plague Champion, an awesome power weapon that ignores melee resistance, so it does 40% more damage to squads and units that have melee resistance, which is most Marines and all of the commanders and melee units and stuff. 388, 464, so it's a great counter initiation weapon. Hive node is still around. Does have a big lump of health, this thing. 750 will go down eventually though, and I'm not sure how Forestradio did in that fight, but he did lose his Raven Alpha. The Banshees are back at base, so they perhaps lost a model or two. Force Commander going mid to cap that contested victory point. Havocs on the field for Vapor. Is that going to prompt Paranoid Cammy to get Sniper Scouts up? That could be pretty nasty for those Havocs if he does. 374, 462. Warrior Brood coming back out of base. They're pretty low on hit points, so need to be careful, especially with that Ranger squad around, picking off big chunks of health from long range. There's a tunnel going up. 374, 457. Shuriken making its way forward, but doesn't want to overextend and get caught setting up. Banshees are isolated here. Need to back away. There we go. They've gone for what? The aspect of strength. Gives them washout, fleet of foot, and their Exarch a fancy spear in tier 2. 374, 444. Some power harass. Wise Windu splitting his forces here, wants to stop the flank, but it looks like Forestradio sending all of his stuff towards the power to defend. 374, 437, 2-1 cap for the blue team, and Forestradio is the first player to go tier 2. What's he going to go for though? Does the Plague Champion get away? He does. Plague Sword, of course, gives him 70 extra health now, taking him up to a nice 900 with the fetid armor at level 1. Wise Windu's pushing, he's taking the opportunity to push here. Warriors out of position, capping and being suppressed, so they are basically out of this fight. That's a nice grenade. Banshees though in trouble. Those Hormagaunts are munching them, and they're going to go down in retreat. Are they? Yes they are. Wise Windu losing his Howling Banshees. That is painful. The Shuriken was, I suppose, caught shooting at the Warriors. It couldn't push forward or the Warriors would attack it. 374, 406. Forestradio apparently used Catalyst on something, or yeah, he might have used it on those Hormagaunts there, which gives them 100% more damage, but they themselves take damage over time. Very good to use on Zone Throats. 374, 392, that's why those Banshees went down so fast, I suppose. It's not that easy to spot. I didn't spot it, that's for sure. Havocs shooting, and they're really bad at power bashing setup teams with a suppression weapon, so it's not even going to bother shooting at it anymore. These scouts being suppressed, that instant suppression from range from the Havocs, which looks like it's going to be toned down in the next update. We'll see exactly how it turns out, because it's not final yet. Keltos still tweaking things. Rangers getting shots, taking out Termagant Broods with each one of those. Are they going to get into the tunnel? No, they're not, just backing away. Tyrant Guard on the field for Forestradio. Wise Windu might respond with some Dark Creepers. At the moment he's replaced his Howling Banshee, so he's pretty low on requisition. And that Tyrant Guard is going to munch those Banshees. Is he going to get... yes, he does get melee synapse. So those Banshees are in trouble, I think. So those Hormagaunts are going to be pretty beastly now. They don't have the adrenal glands, but they are going to have that big melee synapse buff when they get close enough. What has he done with them? Oh, they're capping. 374, 322. Force Commander with his very scary Power Fist. 85 DPS. Look at the health coming off the Plague Champion each hit there. He hasn't even leveled up yet, this guy. Nor has the Force Commander though, to be fair. 374, 422. Force Commander trying to get the last hit, but he got greedy there and is taken down by... what I said was useless against melee commanders. He got taken down by the Heretics. 365, 322. Tyrant Guard is still has 2,500 hit points of super heavy infantry armor and is a blood crusher from Vapor. a demon with vehicle armor, so benefits greatly from worship, and is very quick and a really good early tier 2 unit to put the frighteners on your enemy, makes them commit to anti-vehicle weapons when they perhaps wouldn't want to against the rest of your composition. And the missile launcher tactical marines, as you can see, taking shots at this blood crusher and getting it pretty damn low here. 343, 322. Scouts forced to retreat. We have some Marco Zinch CSM. They will do a good job against that Tyrant Guard if you can bring them into play against it. Inferno bolts doing a lot of damage to heavy and super heavy infantry. The Tyrant Guard can take a shield wall form though to get vehicle armor and health regeneration. Falcon on the field, good choice from Wise Windu. Does good damage to all targets really, and if you can keep it at maximum range, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass to deal with, especially for Forestradios' current composition. He could get the Corrosive Devourer and put some pressure on it with corrosive shots, but otherwise he needs to get his Tyrant Guard and Warrior Brood close to it. Look at them ripping apart these heretics though. Spraying champion on a couple of heretics, getting away there. We have a zombie warrior thanks to the Plague Sword killing one of the models. Do they get away? Banshee's chasing them down, but they aren't in their melee charge. Now they are. They have their Rex up and they do have the aspect of strength. There's that Falcon allowing you to reinforce and transport allied infantry in the field. A great help to the blue team's army. Can't get anything like that with Chaos, which is unfortunate for them. Raven Alpha has the Synapse Aura for damage. 297, 322. Only affects Tyranid units, as you can see, which is what sets it apart from the Force Commander's Sacred Standard, which affects all of your allies. Venom Brood on the way for Forestradio, but he lost his Hormagaunts and one of his Termagant Broods. Venom Brood is to put more pressure on this Falcon. Librarian, what is he up to? Going after the Shuriken, is he? Seems to have a problem pathing around the Falcon here. 297, 319. Needs to get out of there. There he goes. Sub-Commander for Space Marines. Havoc suppressing the Tactical Marines, which are knocked over by grenade launchers. Were they out? Look how much damage those grenade launchers do. They are not to be trifled with, even if you are heavy infantry. If all 4 of those grenade launchers hit you with their grenades, there's lots of damage. Devastators go down, do they? No, they get away. Luckily for them, they did suppress those heretics, so they couldn't get another volley off. 297, 300. Here are the Venom Brood. Pretty solid anti-vehicle unit, really. A very reasonable chance to hit infantry, I think. Much better than a missile launcher and stuff, anyway. Banshee's right in on them, though, with the fleet active. Wow. Needs to be really on the ball with his crippling poison, which he only has 1 of now, of course. Is it worth getting a melee weapon for your Raven Alpha? Maybe acid splatter and trying to go toe to toe with those Banshees alongside your Tyrant Guard. Maybe even give him the crippling talons to debuff those Howling Banshees. Down go a bunch of capillary towers. Banshees are a real pain in the arse here. Chaos Dreadnoughts on the field for Vapor. Has that auto cannon by default, good damage to all targets, small area of effect, and tier 3 for everyone apart from Vapor. He's not that far away from going though himself, but despite getting that Dreadnought on the field, haven't seen much in the way of power harassment, have we? Oh, apart from this, I suppose. Wise Windu has put a lot of pressure on that power, but the blue team haven't seen a lot against theirs, so they are doing pretty well in terms of the size of their armies and their tech ability. And in fact, Windu has a Viprism on the way. There's the Smite from the Librarian, one of his starting abilities. Howling Banshees in amongst the Tyranid blob with the War Shout going off. Not sure why he didn't move earlier there, Forestradio. And I didn't see Crippling Poison used. Maybe he was looking elsewhere. 297, 245. What is he going to go for? A Carnifex? Maybe. He needs a lot of power though. 297, 238. Power harass here from Paranoid Cammy, just as I was saying. That blue team haven't seen a lot of it. Missile launcher getting hits on a generator. That generator is done for, you would think. Marcus Zinch Dreadnought. Down goes a generator. Devastators moving back. Are we going to see a las cannon? No. He wants to keep that suppression in hand, and he does have the Power Fist, which is awesome anti-vehicle in 2.3.0. It is being toned down slightly in 2.3.1. Its flesh over steel will not track indefinitely now. It will only track a certain distance, which is good. So if you can snare the force commander or stun him or something, you should be able to avoid it going off. 297, 211. Tactical Marines backing away, taking shots at the node. Blue team have the 2-1. Can red team pull back here? Forestradio goes for the Doom of Malantai. I was going to say if Vapor gets Terminators up, he might go for the Doom, but he goes for it anyway. 297, 199. Plague Champion going after the Librarian, taking a lot of damage. This guy doesn't have any upgrades yet. Paranoid Kami wants his Assault Terminators, does he? That he can support with that Librarian. Needs some more red, so he needs to kill stuff or lose stuff. Marcozine CSM doing their thing, and the Force Commander's persuaded to leave by the heavy bolter in his face. Forestradio now pushing north. Has that Doom of Malantai, but the Fire Prism taking shots from range. Doom of Malantai not very good against the vehicles, but awesome against blobs of infantry, especially heavy and super heavy infantry, which Eldar don't have a lot of. And he's got 2 vehicles to deal with here. It's going to be tough for him. Fire Prism able to disrupt constantly with its dispersed shots. That was the Cataclysm we just saw from the Doom of Valentine, knocking back and damaging those Howling Banshees, and there is the deadly and much feared Paroxysm, doing a percentage of the enemy's damage, enemy's health as damage per second, and doing extra versus heavy and super heavy since it is a psychic PvP attack. Boom. Grenade killing a few termagants, not a big deal. 297, 158, what is this? That's a Cataclysm on nothing. I thought it was calling in Raveners there. 297, 158. Maybe it was just a misuse. He tried to use his Leech Essence perhaps, or Spirit Leech I think it's called, to get some energy back. Looks like he drained it off the Rangers, and there is the Absorb Life as well. Doom Malantai forced off, but he does have some energy to use next time. Predator tank on the field for Paranoid Kami. Guess he's not going for Terminators. Well, he might still be, but didn't want to wait forever for the red. Current Guard charging in. Lot of stuff shooting at him now, and the Plague Champion has gone for the Plague Fist. Not exactly sure why he switched to this, but he's going for it. 72 DPS heavy melee. Down goes the Tyrant Guard, but there is that a haywire on the, oh, is the Force Commander moving in on the Chaos Dreadnought, of course, with the flesh over steel. Lost the indicator for this guy, so not that easy to spot him. There's the Frenzied Barrage suppressing all of that stuff that it hits, and down goes the Chaos Dreadnought. The tank easily able to deal with it after the flesh over steel, but the Force Commander does go down for his trouble. Plague Champion now level 4. Forestradio trying to push after the Fire Prism, getting rear arm hits with the Venom Brood. This Falcon has the very annoying energy field. There's Paroxysm catching those Banshees as they turn the corner there, and there's Absorb Life also, but they're now chasing down the Doom of Malantai, and there's a War Shout. Uh-oh, it's knocked over. Banshees, are they going to live? Doom of Malantai leading them back into those termagants, and they get away with 5 hit points. Lucky Banshees. We have 2 commanders down. The Warp Spider Exarch is down also. 296, 118. Predator tank getting shots on the generators, while Paranoid Kami has some ranged Terminators on the field. You see them inspiring with every kill there. Nothing close enough to be inspired by them though. They are a large target, so anti-vehicle weapons will have 100% accuracy against them. You just saw that last cannon get a shot in. Also means just regular ranged weapons like bolters will have increased accuracy versus them, and they can't make use of cover, I'm pretty sure, since they're too chunky. 275, 118. D cannon on the field for Wise Windu. Look at the range on this thing. Awesome artillery piece in tier 3. Alpha Alpha's gone down trying to cap top. Swarmlord now in the way for Forestradio. Banshees again chasing down this Doom of Malantine, but there's Crippling Poison and Absorb Life to make them think again. Warrior Brood with the Adrenal Glands chasing them down. There's a bunch of vehicles here. Smack. Ouch. Painful stuff from that Fire Prism. 255, 118, 2-1 cap for the red team. Swarmlord on the way out, and Vapor has a great unclean one coming. That's Spirit Leech from the Doom of Malantine, trying to deny those Rangers some of their energy while forcing them off. Also, mid is uncapped. As you can see, it's a 1-1, 253, 118. Great and clean one hitting the field momentarily, and the Swarmlord is up. Here it is, super unit for Tyranids. Pretty damn deadly in melee combat, though it does not do splash damage. Still very painful, and its Blade Flurry is spectacular when you can pull it off on a blob of infantry. Gives you a speed synapse to your friendly Tyranids and a reinforcement synapse. I think even your allies can reinforce off this thing if they're not Tyranids. I think 253, 118. That could be wrong. The Predator tank went down, as you can see, and here is the great unclean one. Over 6,000 hit points of super heavy infantry armor. The Swarmlord, by contrast, has vehicle armor, which is why it has significantly less. Walks for Exarch with those power blades, level 5, also has phase armor and improved targeters. Improves weapon range and damage. So does this buff the damage of his power blades? I wonder if it does. 253, 118. Doom of Malantine goes down thanks to the great unclean one, and that's a shame for the red team, because the Doom of Malantine is great for putting pressure on this big fella with the paroxysm. Swarmlord wipes out some Eldar though. Those are just some Dire Avengers, I think, and Wise Windu instantly replaces them. Forestradio very low on rec, can't replace his Doom and can't really get anything else. There is the Leech Essence from the Swarmlord. 253, 118, blue team in the ascendancy, but they need to cap mid here. Paranoid Cammy has another tank. Gone for the Twinning Las Cannon immediately. Graham Clemon pushing forward though. And Paranoid Cammy, I think, asking Forestradio to come up here and try and cap. There's a shuriken there. Forestradio thinks it's over. Falcon is level 2. So annoying with that energy field, good grief. How tough is that thing? It does reduce its speed. Yeah, there we see. Reduces speed by 1.
Your forces obey you.
Going clean one can be worshipped since it's a greater demon, but we've seen a shrine go up from Vapor. He should be worshipping this big fellow also. He already is worshipping, needs to get this thing closer. It's not benefiting from it. 253, 104. There's the 2-1 for the blue team, and they are setting up shop in mid. You see the shrine now being worshipped, allowing all of this stuff to reinforce off the shrine, making that heal tick faster as well. I think 253, 95, 2-1 cap for the blue team. Forestradio and Paranoid Cammy coming top to try and overrun it and cap, and there's only a shuriken cannon here to stop them. So you'd think they're going to be victorious or successful at capping anyway here. Warrior Broods taking losses left and right. Weren't even able to decap. Here comes the Swarmlord though, and he's easily able to force off the Guardian Weapon team, which will go down here. Bang, down it goes. Terminators with an assault cannon. Blue team very sluggish to defend. Are they just going to send something down here? Yeah, here comes the Plague Champion to cap this. 253, 75. Red team here trying to lure small amounts of the enemy forces up so they can pick them off like that. Lure one squad at a time up here and pick them off, and they could get away back into this game. They got the 2-1 here, but for how long? Force Commander is going to meet the Plague Champion in melee combat. There is the Pestilent Strike, which stuns the Force Commander, as you can see, and he's going after him here. Force Commander does have his Iron Halo up though. Down it goes. 961 hit points at level 2 against 976 hit points at level 5. Armor of Alacrity for the Force Commander. 247, 75. One to one still, but the Force Commander will take the southeastern VP, so they will get that 2-1 back. There it is. Blue team need to move and cap stuff. Oh, they're moving top. Great and clean one with the foul snare. That might be a dead Ravenant Alpha. Banshee's on him. And down he goes. Great and clean one leading the line. They need to back this big guy up though. There is a Nurgle Vomit or whatever it's called. I really should make note of what that ability is called. I never remember. Walks for Exarch with his phase shift. Does he have a nuke? He does. Forestradio not happy. He knows what's coming. 226, 75. Oh, he didn't use it. He did not use the Eldritch Storm. Phase shift often used to set up nasty, big, damaging abilities like the Wailing Doom or the nuke. Well, he didn't use it there. There's a ton of formation. Both Vapor and Wise Windu have tons and tons of raid. You see, Forestradio has replaced his Doom of Malantite, which will do a good job versus the Great and Clean one, especially if it takes damage like that. Again. Kicking off bottom though. Rangers decapping there. Under infiltration you can decap while infiltrated, but as soon as you start to actually cap the point, you will be partially revealed as they are now. Force Commander backs away. North is still very, very much red. 202, 75. Last cannon might want to get a little bit closer. Those capillary towers going down from the nuke. He needs help to push here. These heretics need to move up. Why are they worshipping mid? There's nothing here. 202, 70. 2-1 cap for the blue team. I suppose they don't need to push top. They've got the 2-1. Here comes some sneaky scouts. Decapping mid, or at least trying to. You are partially revealed momentarily when you start to decap. There's a grenade barrage. Oh, Forestradio is pushing. 202, 57. Terminator's a bit sluggish to join him there, but here they come. There's another phase shift, and we might see the Eldritch Storm now. 202, 55. There it is. Right on top of the Doom of Malantite. Does it finish him off? No. Doom of Malantite doesn't even get hit. But it has forced off pretty much, yeah. Forestradio's entire army did tons and tons of damage and inflicted tons and tons of losses. Here comes a Swarm Lord. Can they cap it though? Terminators, I think they're in a bit of trouble here. They teleported away from the Eldritch, so they can't teleport out now. Hunting Banshee's level 3, but unable to take a model. They do lose a model, in fact, in the end. Kicking off bottom. Lake Champion chasing down a Predator tank of all things. Not something you'll see him do often, but he is forced off. Forced on a level 2. He was suppressed by the Unholy Stench, I think. Franklin one sitting pretty mid. Well, not exactly pretty. 202, 39. And blue team happy to hold the 2-1 for the eventual victory. You would think Paranoid coming now with double Predator tanks. One is bottom though. Can he retake it? Here comes the Force Commander to try and do so, taking Ranger shots, but he has his Iron Halo up. Terminator Brood getting the Ender Swarm, which is a bit weird because they already have 9 models. What's going on there? 202, 29. There is that paroxysm on a blob of heretics. Grenade barrages and an Imperial Abyss right on the Tyranid army. Ouch, 2 nukes for Forestradio to deal with, but he does get away from that one a lot better than the Eldritch Storm. And now Wise Windu is trying to decap. Red team do have the 2-1 there. Both of the natural VPs. Terminator is dragged into the Singularity, and Fire Prism takes a model. These guys are going to go down. Decanning getting shots in, and down they go. Ouch. 188, 29. Whoops. Better Exarch able to decap, but then runs away. What's this? Rangers again decapping. Don't run away from Rangers, Predator tank. Get close. You can't see them at the moment to shoot at them. As soon as they start capping, there we go, bang. Takes a model. Rangers level 3. They've done really well for Wise Windu. Do of Malantite capping. There's the 1-1, 188, 23. Markazine CSM sitting mid, making sure Red team don't try and sneak a cap there. Here comes a Great Unclean One bottom. Foul Snare does not drag back the Force Commander because of the Iron Halo. And now it's Power Fist versus Plague Fist. Power Fist does more DPS, but the Plague Fist gives you the Pestilent Strike. Power Fist does give you Flesh over Steel though. Down goes the Force Commander. 180-23. There's the Pestilent Strike to protect these heretics while they cap. Gives you a massive range damage resistance. I think it's 80% or so. That will affect your enemies as well though if they're inside it. 173-23. Forestradio is hanging on to this VP, isn't he? He's got a lot of resources as well. He needs more though for a Khan effect, which I'm sure he wants. Maybe a Lictor would be worth it. 173-23. Great Unclean One trying to get this Predator tank away from that VP and succeeding. And the blue team have the 2-1 again. Forestradio has been very stubborn up here. Whereas Windu can't get his VP back. I don't think he wants to commit the forces necessary to get it back in case he has a really bad engagement and loses everything. 173-10. Time ticking down for red team. They're trying to cap mid here with Termagants, which get wiped by Marco's Inc. CSM and Grenadier Heretics, do they? 173-4, yes they do get wiped. What is that? That's an Eldritch Storm right on top of the Predator tank at the end of the game. But the blue team victorious with a 2-1 cap at the end. Made a bit of a meal of it. Red team able to hang on with some capping fights at the bottom here. But blue team do hold on for the victory. We'll see the commanders at the end of the game. Vapor's Plague Champion level 6. Just over 1,000 hit points. Plague Fist, Fetid Armor, Mucus Discharge, which is his heal ability. Breath of Nurgle. Rocks for Exarch, level 9. Good grief. Power Blades, Phase Armor, and Shimmer Orb. At the end, he also has had improved targeters to switch to. Force 1 level 3 and down had the Power Fist, Alacrity, and Iron Halo. And the Ravener Alpha with the awesome Corrosive Devour at the end. And the Synapse Aura for damage level 4. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time.